Hello, friends. So I'm very happy that I'm going to be speaking with Dr. Zuhdi Jasser in just a couple minutes. I want to tell you what I do as my preparation for speaking to the world, and that is in part pulling out my eyeliner and making sure that I have protection. This is a ritual that my grandmother taught me when I was a little girl. It's superstition, and I don't believe it literally, of course, but it's the idea of protecting yourself. And so as my second step, what I will do is get my lovely puppy Lily in the mood. I just got a text from Zuhdi to do the show a few minutes ago as I dropped my son off for tutoring, and now I'm going to literally sit parked in the Starbucks, and guess what? The Starbucks drive-thru guy saw Lily and said, would she like a puppuccino, which is a treat. Lily, would you like a treat? Lily, would you like a treat? Would you like a treat? Would you like a treat? Oh. And now Lily gets her endorsement from Starbucks. I don't think Starbucks is endorsing this show, but that's pretty exciting, right? It's called a puppuccino. I'm sure it's really good for her. But, okay, that's all. We're going to do it in pacing ourselves. So, if you don't know who I am already, my name's Asra Nomani. I am a former reporter for the Wall Street Journal.
Unknown caller.
There they are calling. Hi there.
Hi, Ezra. Tracking you down for Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. Are you ready to go on?
I am. Do I need to call you, or is this work fine?
No, you sound great. So
Okay.
if you're ready, we're ready.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand by.
Okay.
To dealing with radical Islamism. And where are we going? I've got another friend that I'm going to welcome to the show momentarily, but let's take a call quick from Michael in Phoenix.
Hi, Doctor. How are you?
Good. How are you, Michael?
I'm very good, thank you. The reason I was calling was concerning the remarks that Ilhan Omar made about America being built on the backs of slaves and what she called the genocide of the indigenous people of this land. And I was even more bothered by the fact that up to today, and I still haven't heard anything, no one has answered her in rebuttal. I mean, there was slavery. It was bad. There was definitely treatment of the Native Americans, which was bad. But, and that's about all I'll give her. But to say that our nation was built on the backs of those two groups is disingenuous. Our nation was built on the backs of hardworking people of all races, from Italians and Irish to blacks and Chinese, and even Native Americans.
I have to tell you, my response to her, the best response to her would be, what about the faith of Islam? I love my faith of Islam. What has the faith of Islam said theologically against slavery? I believe it's rejected by reformists, but to say that, yes, they'll cite for you a prophetic passage in which the prophet said freeing a slave is a noble thing to do, but there was never an injunction against it. And there are many countries that are Muslim majority that still condone slavery. So I would think that, especially from somebody who represents herself as a conservative Muslim, she should start by expressing the need for our own global community to do that. And yet, to attack America that has evolved from that history, that we had a civil war that was about it. I think now you find a lot of presidential candidates trying to make hay out of the reparation issues and other things. But, yeah, I think you raise a good point. I think it's because of the presidential campaigns that they're not responding to that. You know, some of the candidates are trying to make that an issue.
I mean, 620,000 men died fighting that civil war.
Yep.
To free the slaves.
Well, thank you.
And, you know, and we wouldn't have had people like black cowboys like Bill Pickett and Nat Love who helped settle the West. I mean, we have George Washington Carver inventor and scientist, and Charles Drew, who developed, who invented the blood banks. I mean, we have in World War I and World War II the Buffalo Soldiers, and I mean, there's a lot of good things that came out of freeing the slaves, and we owe people like that, and even the mistreatment of the Indians, they rose above it, and we had people like Billy Mills and Jim Thorpe, and we had the Navajo Code Talkers.
Michael, thank you. I'm going to talk to Ezra right now, so thank you so much for calling. Ezra,
Hey,
are you with us?
hey, I am. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks for calling in, and thank you for being here. This is Ezra Namani, a renowned leading reformist. You may have seen her on Fox and a number of other venues. And she is not only a leading women's rights thinker, but she's a former Wall Street Journal reporter, Washington Post writer, and freelance writer. Can we tell them about the book you're writing, or not yet?
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad we can talk about it. So I'm also here with my little puppy, Lily, who, as you know, is also part of the Muslim Reform Movement, because we accept that you can have a dog inside your home, and the angels will not curse you till morning, but actually bless you, because you have taken care, right? You are loving.
We were talking to Soraya Dean earlier, and a dog barked in the background. I said, that is the sign of a reformist. You hear a dog barking in the background.
Exactly, and I'm videotaping us just so that we can have fun with this later. And Lily is in the front seat with me with the puppuccino, as they call it, from Starbucks. And
a local activist circled the PI at the end of your name and said that proved why you should be removed from Islamic meetings, because you are a spy.
Oh,
Tell
yeah.
us about the PI at the end of your name in just 30 seconds, and then we're going to go to break for a second.
Yeah, PI, as everyone knows, means private investigator. PI license was I wanted to be able to expand my reach in all the investigative reporting that I do. And that local activist is Imran Siddiqui, a man who has been a thorn in your side, I know, and a champion of character assassinations against others. And so he works for the Council on American Islamic Relations. And I'm so excited to tell your listeners about the investigation in the PI that I'm doing.
We'll do that when we come right back after the break. This is Zuhdi Jasser.
Hugh Hewitt says the Mueller investigation is still over. By the way, the Mueller investigation is still over. Democrats divide on how to respond to the Mueller investigation conclusion. The five things that they begin with.
So, you guys, as we're waiting,
Depression, acceptance. And they're all in different places along the way. But they're all
I'm sitting here waiting for my son to finish his tutoring. I'm a mom, and the reason why I got into this investigative work in my Muslim community was because I saw the impact on just ordinary communities of the propaganda and the rhetoric that the first listener was talking about, that's meant to disparage this country, that's meant to take the very complicated history that's been a part of America's founding and turn it into a constant tarnishing of this nation. And so, of course, America has had a civil rights problem. Of course, slavery was wrong. But America is not does not have a monopoly on such injustices. And in fact, unfortunately, in even our Muslim community, we have had these very serious injustices, and we still do to this day. Indentured servitude, slavery. You can go on the internet, Google Islam and sex slaves, and you will find theological justifications for the keeping of sex slaves. Sometimes now they are maids from the Philippines who have their passports taken from them. We have people from my home country of India who are like slaves, building the buildings and building the infrastructure of these Gulf countries. Let's be fair and honest in our critique, but what we have now is a radical Muslim lobby that is intent on having a singular attack on the West in order to develop portals for basically sabotaging our own democracy. And this is a really dangerous day that we live in, and we must be woke, as they love to say. What I have written as part of my own counter-propaganda is this one monograph called Milestones for a Spiritual Jihad. So spiritual jihad is a pun, as is milestones, on a man named Sayyid Qutb, theological godfather for the Muslim Brotherhood, propagandist in the 1950s and 1960s. He wanted to have a violent jihad against the West. And I offer this treatise of sorts as a counter argument to the idea of a violent jihad. The subtitle is Toward an Islam of Grace, because that's the kind of Islam that my parents taught me, an Islam in which we have kindness, compassion, forgiveness in the most generous of ways, not grievances and resentment and hatred, as so much of the radical Muslim lobby now is trying to stoke, not only among Muslims, but among Americans.
Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, the chair for Left Deepson, and he's away. It's always an honor to sit in, and humbling to be behind the mic. And I am honored to have Esra Nabhani with us. She is not only a co-leader in our Muslim Reform movement, but just an amazing human being.
Oh, thank you.
Courageous, and gives so much of her time to try and make the world a better place as she confronts the Islamists and does things that often keep me in awe. Esra, tell everybody, if you will, you've had a couple videos go viral. We've had these sort of the Hamas caucus now that's in Congress of Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, and you have tried to go and, as a reporter, as a Muslim, go and visit their offices, and what happened?
Yeah, you know, for the last 30 plus years, I've been a journalist in the United States. I've been reporting in the halls of Congress since my earliest days. And my project right now is to report on this network of Muslims that have risen to power, driven by their own radical ideas of Islamism, this idea of political Islam, and grievances against the West. And so this reporting took me to the halls of Congress a few weeks ago, in which I ended up literally shadowing, just like I have so many lobbying groups, Linda Sarsour, a name that many of your listeners will know, and the executives and officials of the Council on American Islamic Relations. I went first with them to Nancy Pelosi's office, and there they talked to the front receptionist, and then followed them to Ilhan Omar's office, and finally their last stop was Rashida Tlaib's office. And there, as I was videotaping, I saw Linda Sarsour, Nihad Awad, and several other current and former CAIR officials go to the front. I was standing right by them where the sign is for the congressional office. And then Linda steps forward, then she steps back. And she turns around and speaks in Arabic to the officials and aides around her. And the translation of what she said in Arabic is, "Don't let her be one of the first ones in. Do you hear me?" One of the women responds, "Yes." And then she repeats what her order and command to the group. And sure enough, they step in front of me as the entourage walks inside, and these CAIR and ex-CAIR officials block the door, so I cannot enter a congressional office, a public office that any human being is allowed to enter.
And you know, it's fascinating. fascinating. This to those of us active in the communities, this is what we see at some mosques. This is
Right.
what we see at hookah bars and elsewhere, where some of the Islamists think they own the place
Right.
and forget that this is the United States of America, and think that it's basically Amman, Jordan, or Damascus, Syria,
Or
and that somehow they can just bully people.
right, or Tunisia, because in this case, one of the men. Oh, Lily's angry now at what I'm about to say. One of the men turns to me and is literally Facebook messaging or FaceTiming someone on his phone after the end of the meeting, and he says, "Say hello to Tunisia." And I just look into his camera and I think to myself, where are we? And I turn to him and I say, "You do realize it States Congress. This is not their mosque. This is not the Islamic State of America. This is the United States of America." And yet, to my shock, they stood there like bouncers at the mosque, and they thought that they owned that door. And that's when I realized, Zuthi, like, you have been a genius. You have been warning America for so many years, and these folks know that you're a threat to them. That's why they do their character assassinations on you. You were the one who opened my eyes to understand the global network in which they exist. And standing there in this house office building, I thought to myself, everything that we have been warning the country about is now playing out. And this is frightening.
And they're getting more and more empowered.
They are.
Middle East Forum has a piece out by Oren Litwin today talking about how they are making fundraisers. CARE Washington State has a fundraiser calling for Muslim power, unapologetically Muslim power for 2020. Whether we except for not protecting Maduro, which she sees as some kind of great leader, versus the people in the streets who are trying to revolt for democracy, whether she says things that are horrifically anti-Semitic, the left remains silent. And I ask you, Ezra, you came from that side of the aisle, if you will, and yet you ended up rightly voting for President Trump. What is the left going to do? When are they going to wake up? Are they going to continue pushing these folks as their leaders?
No, you're absolutely right. And you know, Zuthi, I still consider myself part of the left. I still consider myself liberal on values that would separate a conservative from a liberal. But the left has lost its soul. The liberals are losing that singular value that is so fundamental to any kind of values, conservative or liberal, if you're going to be a part of a civilized democratic society. And that is the idea that you have to have a separation of church and state. I mean, it is something that conservatives, of course, believe in this country, as well as liberals. And this is something that the liberals are simply ceding to the Muslims. I cannot even begin to tell you what I witnessed a couple weeks ago, because I'll tell you exclusively. I went to the Islamic Circle of North America conference, the ICNA as they're called. They're below the radar, right, on most people's sort of examination of Muslim groups. CARE gets all the attention. Well, I went there for the first time, and Zuthi, there I saw the madrasa from India that created the Taliban, the Deoband madrasa, with a booth, because they now have this sprawling campus in upstate New York. I witnessed on the morning of Easter Sunday, these Muslims gather outside the convention center, led by Linda Sarsour, to march to the White House. And what was their march? Like, have we yet had one march by them against Islamic extremism? No. They were marching against, quote, Islamophobia. For literally, I counted the number of seconds, 32 seconds, they had a moment of silence for those poor, innocent worshippers that were going for their Christian service on Easter Sunday in Sri Lanka. And then what did they have? An hour and a half of ripping against America and talking about their complaints about anti-Muslim crime. And guess what, Zuthi? A man from a Turkish American organization stood there and said he wants blasphemy laws in America. That's where we're at now. All of the white. I mean, they are so brazen now, and we have.
And yet, Ezra, the Sports Illustrated
Yes.
picture should solve everything, right? We have Bertini now in the Sports Illustrated. We're done. We defeated Sharia.
I know.
Mrs. Zudi Jazz,
I feel so honored. Do you know why I talk with such passion when I talk to somebody who understands? It's because there's such a vacuum of just understanding. Honestly, I can't think of another word among so many people still. Like, why don't liberals open up their eyes to this hypocrisy among radical Muslims? Like, I know why. I'll tell you what my dear friend Orly Petter, a clinical psychologist and neuropsychologist, has taught me. That bleeding heart liberal sentiment that made me liberal is exploited by these guys, by the radical Muslim lobby. They exploit empathy. They exploit compassion. They exploit any kindness that people may have for Muslims as a, quote, minority in this country. And they hijack our empathy. They hijack the empathy of people who are kind-hearted and good so that they will turn a blind eye to their ridiculousness. And so when Ilhan Omar talks trash about Israelis and Jews, we turn a blind eye as liberals. I don't, but many do, because, oh, poor Ilhan Omar, she's every check the box on minority status. But you do nobody a service if you allow somebody who claims to be victimized to then be the victimizer. This is a tragedy. Gotta plug in my computer. I'm gonna give Lily a little treat. Oh, absolutely. And I love how, I love how you keep mentioning private investigator, because somehow I just decided on a lark to go ahead and put PI at the end of my name, you know, Magnum PI, you know, all of this. But sure enough, it just has irked these guys, right? They're so afraid of any investigative eyes on their work. Why? What are they hiding? This is what you and I know, that they're hiding something, and we're going to keep investigating. I'm going to keep following the money.
Yeah, I mean, our own mosque here in 2014, the imam was giving a sermon in Ramadan, and I was taped in it and put out the transcript and tried to deny he was talking about me because he never mentioned his name, and yet, sure enough, he couldn't dodge the truth because the truth was out there. Right. We have only 2 minutes in this segment, so Ezra, tell people what they can do to be on the right side of history when it comes to this issue. And it's definitely not what the Sports Illustrated folks are doing, right?
No, it's absolutely not. Like, I, as a Muslim woman, ask everyone to recognize that we are standing up for an interpretation of Islam that does not believe a woman is too sexy for her hair. That Sports Illustrated has done Muslim women and Islam a disservice by promoting this political Islam view of what we should look like. So what can you do? Please always be civil and smart in your critique of these Islamists, because all they want to do is turn the table and become the victim. And so always be bigger and better than they are. But stand with courage, you know, stand with the courage of your intellectual analysis. My mother stands with me. That's why I don't care how much these people hate me and how much they call me names, because my parents are with me. And they use common sense and critical thinking. So honor that within yourself and stick to those values that you know are correct and right in this world.
We have to, and that is just such sage advice. It is, we have to, in today's, hyper acute social media, get to rationality, have tough love with our Muslim American friends, and begin to use this laboratory for what it is, which is the world's leaders in new ideas.
Right.
And unfortunately, diversity for the left hasn't meant new ideas. It's meant letting one monolith speak for us. Keep doing what you're doing, Asra. How can they find you? How can they find you?
At Asra, A-S-R-A, Nomani, on any social media handle, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's always the same. And my email address is just asra@asranomani.com. Send me your message of support. I always read them and I appreciate them. And listen, I want to just thank you, Zuhdi, for being a champion. So much, just character assassination against you. You have stayed steady and strong because I know your moral compass is as clear as can be. So thank you.
Well, God bless you. God bless you, Asra. Stay strong. We'll be right back.
You too.
Zuhdi Jasser.
When it comes to your pain, many of you might be skeptical, like I was.
So thank you guys for watching and listening to Zuhdi and me. We are part of the Muslim Reform Movement, which believes in peace, so that we reject violent interpretations of the Quranic text or Hadith, the sayings and traditions of the Prophet Muhammad. We reject the idea of violent jihad. Secondly, we believe in human rights. So we believe in women's rights. We believe in the rights of the LGBT community. We believe in the rights of minorities, so-called minority communities in Muslim majority countries. We believe in all people's rights. We believe in the rights of Muslims to leave Islam. And if you are theologically conservative in any interpretation, just recognize this, that human rights that we fight for means simply that you have the right to exist in this world without criminalization, punishment, or murder. So imagine, that's not a very high bar to reach. But yet, in so many of our Muslim countries, we still kill people by law because they leave Islam. We may kill people if they are part of the LGBT community. And we may kill people because they are part of the quote minority faith and have done something so-called blasphemous about Islam. That's not okay. And in the Muslim Reform Movement, we reject all of those interpretations of Islamic law. And then finally, but so importantly, we believe in secular governance. So what that means is that no religious interpretation of so-called Sharia or Islamic law can become the law of the land. It also means that no law of the land will govern over anybody based on religion. So these are all very fundamental, simple ideas that nobody that is living in the Western democracies should disagree with. I firmly believe that most Muslims in the world agree with these fundamental ideas and will thrive and grow and progress as individuals and we as a community if we have these values of Islam. Ultimately, we are fighting so that young people and human beings can live with positive affirmation and a sense of growth in this world, not judgment and harshness and condemnation. So from Lily, hey Lily, you want a treat? You want a treat, Lily? And from me, I send you my love and I ask you to support us in the Muslim Reform Movement. We are a part of you and you are a part of us. Thank you. Bye-bye. Can you say bye? There she is. Bye-bye, everyone.